Welcome to the Explainer. In any competition, they always tell you to study your opponent. But what happens when the toughest one you'll ever face is, well, the person staring back at you in the mirror? Today, we're breaking down the playbook for mastering that exact challenge, yourself.
The book, Your Greatest Opponent You, kicks off with this really powerful idea. And it's such a crucial reminder, right, that all the external success we're chasing in our careers, in our lives, it's almost always a direct result of the work we do on the inside. Real, lasting success is an inside job.
It's a tough question, isn't it? It is so much easier to blame our circumstances or other people. But if we're really serious about growing, we have to find the courage to look inward and ask that hard question. Am I my own biggest obstacle?
Okay, let's dive into it. The cool thing about this book is it's not about fixing you, because it argues you're not broken to begin with. Instead, it's a set of real, actionable plays to help you lead yourself with a ton more purpose and integrity.
First things first, every good strategy starts with understanding the opposition. So before we can even think about winning, we need to get really clear on the patterns and habits that are keeping us stuck right where we are.
We've all been here. The authors call it the victim cycle. You know that feeling, right? Where you feel powerless, like the world is just happening to you. It's this defensive posture where we basically hand over our power and our ability to change the outcome.
And wow, how familiar do these sound? These aren't just little excuses. They're stories we tell ourselves. And yeah, they might be based on a tiny bit of truth, but they ultimately stop us from moving forward. They feel safe in the moment, but they're a total trap.
So why is this cycle so incredibly common? Well, the book suggests it's not totally our fault. From a really young age, most of us were basically trained to stay in our comfort zone, to not take risks, and to put safety way ahead of growth.
Just think back to school for a second. What were the rules? Stay in your seat, follow directions, color inside the lines. Success was often measured by how few mistakes you made, not by how bold or creative you were. That whole environment just conditions us to be afraid of getting it wrong.
So here's the big realization. As adults, we have the power to see that we're not in that classroom anymore. We can actually give ourselves permission to stand up, walk out into the field, and try stuff, even if we might mess up. Because the real game is out there.
So how do we actually break free from all that conditioning and get onto the field? The book's big answer is to consciously choose what it calls a fierce mindset.
And this is a really key distinction. Being fierce isn't about being loud or aggressive or picking fights. No, it's about being internally strong. It's about having this unshakable sense of personal accountability for your own results, your own energy, and your own life.
This is really the heart of the fierce mindset. It's that decision to stop explaining why you can't and to start figuring out how you can. That simple but super powerful shift is the foundation for taking back control of your own story.
Okay, let's get into the first real actionable play. Before you can act with purpose, you gotta know what your purpose is, and that starts with defining what actually matters to you.
So the book describes values as our internal compass. They're not just some nice-sounding words on a piece of paper. They are the hidden drivers behind every single decision we make. When we're lined up with them, we feel good, fulfilled. And when we're not, we just feel off, even if we can't explain why.
And this is so important. You can hit every external goal you set for yourself. Get the job title, the salary, the praise. But if getting there meant sacrificing your core values, that victory is going to feel completely hollow. Alignment. That's the real key to deep, lasting satisfaction.
All right, next up is a play that literally every single one of us needs. It's about learning to see failure not as some kind of final judgment, but as a totally critical part of the process of growing. So, having a failure, that's just an event. A project didn't work out, a conversation went sideways, it's temporary. But becoming a failure, that's when you let that one event define who you are. One is something you move past, the other is an identity that just weighs you down.
I absolutely love this quote. It's such a powerful reminder to stop carrying our mistakes around like this heavy coat of shame. Instead, we can treat failure like data. Okay, what did I learn? What can I do differently next time? It's a comma, not a period.
Okay, the last play we're gonna cover is one of the most practical, and let's be honest, for a lot of us, it's one of the most challenging. It's learning how to set clear, healthy boundaries.
We often think of boundaries as these walls we put up to keep people out. But the book reframes them so beautifully.
A boundary isn't a rejection, it's a clarification. It's basically a set of respectful instructions that tells other people how to have a healthy relationship with you.
This three-step model is so useful because it gives you this clear, escalating framework. You start out gentle, just setting the tone. If that doesn't work, you reinforce it. And if it's still ignored, you have a plan to protect your own time and energy. It's a playbook you can use in any situation, really.
So, when you put all these plays together, being fierce, living your values, reframing failure, setting boundaries, it's not about some single massive gesture. It's all about how you choose to show up day in and day out. And that's the bottom line. Winning this inner battle isn't some final destination you arrive at. It's a continuous series of small, intentional choices. It's the daily decision to be the leader of your own life. Look, this isn't just theory, it's a call to action. So that leaves us with one last thought. Looking at these plays, which one will you put into practice starting right now? Your greatest victory is waiting.